Okay. I'm really happy to see the interest in our event, and good evening to all of you. Um, as you probably know, because it was communicated by the BSU or through your national organizations. One of our goals is to bring together the caving communities of the Balkans and beyond Balkans by creating different opportunities to share knowledge, to share, I don't know, exploration projects, scientific research, discoveries, experiences from the underground. And besides the Balkan Cavers Camp, which you already saw, it was published, so hope to see you all in North Macedonia in September. We will also have on a recurrent basis online gatherings. And tonight we are happy, proud, and delighted to welcome Stelios, the Vice President of the Balkan Speleological Union, and also a representative of Hellenic Federation of Speleology, who will present Into Sternes, 10 years beneath Greece, beneath Crete. And through this presentation, I will give you just a bit of a hint that we are going to have together a journey through the 10 years of explorations in the Sternes cave system. And Stelios will share the challenges, the achievements, the discoveries that have shaped, let's say, this remarkable project. Because 10 years, it's a decade, and it's a lot. Also, I want to use this opportunity to invite cavers, researchers, cave rescuers, speleological organizations from around the world, not limited only to the Balkans, to connect with us. I don't know, drop me an email, write me a message, whatever. And if you have an exploration story or a scientific project or any discovery or an experience that you would like to share with the international caving community, we would be happy to hear from you and also to create the context in which you can share the knowledge and your discoveries or experiences. So thank you for joining us today. And now I'm pleased to give the floor to Stelios.
Okay, thank you, Emma. And thank you also for the honor of being the first speaker in this new series that the Balkan Speleological Union is trying to organize. I will share my screen. And first of all, I have to say that it's a little bit of hyperbole that it's 10 years, because actually this year is our 10th expedition to Sternes as the Speleological Association of Crete. So, as you said, I am vice president of the BSU. I am a board member of the Hellenic Federation, but more dear to my heart and at a lower level, in that it's closer to the citizen, let's say. I'm also a member of the Speleological Association of Crete and a member of the Sternes expedition, which the Speleological Association of Crete has been organizing every year since 2017. Let's begin. I'm a little bit cautious that this is being recorded and will be put up, which means I won't be able to make any cute jokes, only bad ones. But let's see how this goes. So, Lefka Ori. It means the White Mountains, the name of it. It's the largest massif of Crete. Crete, if you don't know, is an island in between Africa and Greece that was largely created by the uplift of what used to be the floor of the Tethys Sea. The Tethys Sea is this big planet-wide ocean that that now only survives in the Mediterranean and maybe a little bit in the Black Sea. I'm not sure. The floor of this ocean was calciferous rocks. It was under pressure. It was under heat, and it emerged from the ocean, I think, maybe 20, 30 million years ago. In the Lefkaori, there are more than 54 peaks above 2,000 meters. Excuse me. The highest peak is Pachnes, and of course, because there are 54 peaks so high, there is also very high valleys in between the peaks where snow and water gathers in the winter. Okay, and this is subject to a lot of solution. The mountain is almost exclusively limestone, dolomite, and marble. There's no shade on the mountain. There's no readily available water, and the mountain does not like you or your equipment. It's quite a rough place to be. It's very often that people come to join the expedition with new clothes and end up with old clothes, not just shoes. So at the moment, it is one of the prime spots for exploration in Greece, the White Mountains. There are more than 1,500 recorded cave entrances. These are mainly vertical caves with large pits and not much in the way of decoration of stalagmites and stalactites. The 4, I think, of the 5 deepest caves of Greece are currently in the Lefkaori. The Lion, which is in the wrong place because Gourgouthakas, after a dive last year, actually went lower, and I haven't switched them. But the Lion and Gourgouthakas are where the black circle is in this slide. Pralina is more to the east from here, and Sternes is here where the second circle is. Further south, we're looking towards the south in this image, and the entrance is at 2,085 meters, which gives it great potential to have a deep cave for even by European standards. The 2 deepest caves are over to the north, which is currently on the left of this rotating diagram here, the Lion and Gourgouthakas. I'm not sure if my cursor is visible. I hope it is, because I will be talking as if it is. Sternes is in the back there, coming round now. So at the moment, we're looking towards the west with the 2 deeper caves to the right, and Sternes, even though it's here at about -600, it is only equivalent to the very first vertical series of Gourgouthakas and the Lion. So how was the cave discovered? Sometime towards the end of the 1980s, someone explored the cave down to 130 meters, where it stops at a choke point. And I say somebody, probably from the GB, from the UK, because when I was presenting the cave at the last International Congress, the president or the head of the table said to me, I think I know who it was that first went to this cave before the 80s, or in the 80s. And I got in touch with this guy. He's from the UK. He told me that he cycled down to Crete to go caving. And he's lost his notes from then. So maybe we'll never work it out. Towards in 1981, a team from Sheffield University, SUS, explored in the area, but they did not record that they had entered Sternes. And this brings us now to the end of this decade, to the end of the 80s, where a group of students from a university club in France came to the area, and this is the first 130 meters. They reached the same boulder choke, and to be honest, the cave is, compared to everything else on the massif, it's beautiful. It has a huge entrance dolin, which is about 20 meters deep and 10 meters wide, and it looks big and it looks like it goes. And when you get to the bottom of this first dolin, there's a little sideways entrance that leads to these pitches that you see. So someone finding it for the first time and entering for the first time would get very excited after visiting a number of other shafts that would end after 10 meters or 30 meters or 25 meters. So the French team reaches the point at 1:30. Here is the head of the expedition at the entrance. The reason it's known as GSO 21 is that in the arithmetic of naming the caves that they were discovering and exploring, this was the 21st cave entrance explored. So at the 130 meters, upset that it doesn't go any further, before setting off, one of the members of the team, I know I keep asking, and I have been told, I don't remember which one, although it's not that important, decided to lighten himself before starting the journey back up. And after having made water at this point, he noticed that the steam was being sucked into the ground where he was standing. So there was an air current moving into the cave past the boulder choke where they had stopped. So after a great deal of trouble and lifting with pulley systems, so I was saying that the entrance of the cave is very impressive. It's about 20 meters deep and 10 meters wide, and from a distance you can see that this is going to be a good cave. So after you go down the 20 meters, there's an opening on the side, which also means that any rocks coming in do not block the way on. And after that, it's just vertical shafts, which are quite roomy, quite big, until 130 meters, where there was this boulder choke that was the end. And I don't remember the name, even though I've asked and I've been told a few times. I don't remember who it was, but one of the cavers, before he set off back for the surface, decided to lighten himself a little bit and passed water at the bottom there. And as he did so, he noticed that the steam was being sucked into the boulder choke where he'd stopped. So he detected that there was a flow of air, a current at that point, which could only mean that the cave continued below the 130. So the next day they started opening this part with pulleys, and it was quite a difficult task. They named it the Chamber of the Myth of Sisyphus, because as they were taking rocks out of the hole, they would roll back and back into the hole. But after perseverance, they made it through and continued the exploration down to minus 400 meters. The year after that, they continued the exploration down to 428, which is or was for many years the lowest point of the cave, and it ends in a meander through which you can feel a lot of wind blowing into the cave. So the airflow at the lowest point is into the cave, which again is indicative of something that carries on. The survey was published in Spelunka magazine along with a description, and we have with us the author of that article today. After 92, the cave remains unknown to Greek cavers for more than a decade, until this article was found and brought to the attention of Kostas Adamopoulos, who at the time was with the Sellas Club. And he noticed that he recognized the shadow in the back of the photograph that was taken from the entrance of the cave. So the cavers of Sellas knew roughly where it was on the White Mountains to be found. They also knew that, as the name had been given, the cave of Sternes, that it was on the peak called Sternes. But now identifying this photograph allowed them to know which side of the cone it was on. So a series of expeditions were launched, 3-day weekends or 4-day weekends to go and find the entrance. And the first attempts didn't go too well because it was under snow. The cavers who went were very close to the entrance, but didn't actually manage to find it. In 2005, by using trigonometry and trying to triangulate backwards from the shapes on the image of the cave behind the entrance, it was found, and the exploration was repeated. A new survey was done by the Sellas Club of Athens. They then went back in 2009, 2010, 11, and 12. In 2010, with Balkan cavers, Romanians, that we had met actually at Balkan camp in 2008 when they had come to Greece the first time. And but although they tried for 4 years, every year, the progress on the meander at the bottom was not very promising. And after 4 years of trying, the club decided to stop. So after 2012, okay, I don't know if you can hear this. It doesn't matter if you can't. it's what the meander was like after widening. So it's actually much better now, but given that those were the conditions, why did SPOC, the Speleological Association of Crete, decide that we should keep pushing, that we should go back, that we should make an effort here? The main reasons were the strong airflow that I described earlier, the favorable position of the cave, and by that I mean not only the altitude at 2,085 meters, giving it very great potential for depth, but it's also very close to the road. I mean, by very close, we camp maybe 40, 50 meters from the dirt road, and the cave entrance is maybe 15 minutes uphill from there. So in terms of moving equipment and packs and ropes, it was, let's say, Lefkaori light or White Mountains light. It wasn't a heavy expedition that would require hours of carrying equipment. So I don't know if I said this earlier, but with usual Balkan hyperbole, it's not actually 10 years that we've been doing this, but 9. This year is the 10th year. Right from the very start, we had an international approach to the expedition. In 2017 and 18, there were Romanian cavers and cavers from France and from other countries and the UK. And yeah, before COVID also, there were Australians, Americans who joined us. During the 2 COVID years, it was only Greek cavers. And then we started inviting cavers again in 2022 and on. Some of these years we have been supported by international organizations like the European Speleological Federation or the International Union of Speleology or the National Speleological Society of the USA. In 2017, there were 22 participants. We broke through the meander and made, okay, when I'm using the first person plural, we, it's not me, it's the expedition. I don't get my hands too dirty. So it's the guys who were there working, the team. In 2018, there was another 20 meters done and a bunch of pits explored afterwards. So 2017 in orange, mainly horizontal movement. And in fact, on the last day of the 2017 expedition, we said, okay, this is going nowhere. It's not going to give us depth. It's too much trouble. One more day, and then next year we're going somewhere else. And when the team came out that night, they said to us, we found some pits. And we said, no, you didn't. You're joking. Because it was the last night. We were getting ready to de-rig and go home. And they said, no, we found pits. They surveyed the pits. And yes, the pits were there. So we didn't pack up and decide to go somewhere else in 2018. We went back to Stylianos and this time explored the yellow section where we got a bit more depth out of it. Still quite narrow, still quite difficult, but now at least some depth was coming. And in 2019, almost the same day that we started exploration, it ended at a really grim crawl that ended in muddy water, not a siphon, just collected water in the rock. And this is the green part of the map here. There was, however, a question mark left in this big pit in the yellow section in the discovery of 2018, and we now call this bulldozer pit, and it takes its name from these four gentlemen and their friends, the bulldozer team, who did a lot of the widening of the meander and the breaking, and it's four great guys from Romania, Robbie, Attila, and Botti. So the bulldozer pit is named for their efforts. In 2020, like I said, in 2019, at the green part, the route was closed, and we considered that, okay, it makes sense because we've lost the air. So from the bottom of bulldozer pit onwards, there was no airflow, and we made some experiments burning all sorts of things to try and get some smoke in there to see where it goes. I'm not sure whether it was the coffee powder or the pine needles that gave the best smoke in the end, but we decided that at the beginning of 2020, we would make a climb in the bulldozer pit to see where the airflow was going. Of course, 2020 was the year of lockdowns and everything. There was only 12 of us on the mountain, but the 8th climb in blue, it went nowhere. It went back to places where we had been before, but there was a window in this bulldozer pit where they could feel the airflow, but it was muddy. It was muddy, uphill, horrible place. And again, on the last day of the expedition, they said, okay, we've reached as far as we're going to go in this muddy little tunnel. There was a small window at the end of it that it looked like it was giving access to a chamber of 3 meters by 3 meters. And we decided the last day, go down, go through the window, and then de-rig and go somewhere else next year. But when they went through the window, it wasn't a room that was 3 by 3 meters. It was a gallery that had a diameter of 3 meters, and it disappeared both uphill and downhill as far as the eye could see. And it was covered in this white aragonite crystals on the floor, on the ceilings, on the walls, everywhere. So aragonite and moon milk are quite rare on the White Mountains. We were excited. There was question marks in this new passage, and obviously we decided to come back and not go somewhere else in 2021. At the same time, because we realized that this cave was going to become a little bit more than just going up and down a rope and going in and coming out the same day, we decided to take a pause and improve the rigging on the whole of the route. And so the whole of the route was rigged with inox anchors and hangers. And there was a lot of widening done in this orange section and elsewhere where there are narrow parts. So 370 meters of horizontal walking passage discovered in 2020. 2022, 39 participants. The goal was the gallery. A hotspot was established next to the bulldozer pit so that cavers could rest before coming back. And we had some encouraging results. An additional 1 kilometer was explored and surveyed in this year. The gallery has at least 2 levels, meaning that there was part of the gallery that was on top with sort of rusty red rocks and the aragonite, and underneath flowing water in black galleries. There was questions as to whether it may have been hypogenic. The Italians and French guys we had with us considered that some of the speleothems they found could imply that it was, and a potential place for overnighting was found also. Many question marks, and the most promising one being a pit that was found that was maybe 50 meters deep up at this end of the exploration. At this time, it's the 6th deepest cave in Greece. So 2023, the year after that, we go in wanting to establish the bivouac, and we explored and surveyed another 2.5 kilometers, I think. We'll get the number in a moment. So now that this cave was more than just a pit that you go up and down, and there were branches that needed to be identified so that you could tell the next guy who goes down, I want you to go to there and continue. We had to give names to parts of the cave, and this happened in a haphazard way, in that there was no, because we weren't really expecting to need it, there was no let's say instruction or best practice that was required for giving names. So we have plastic gallery, concrete canyon. The black meander takes its name from the type of the rock. The whole of the Italians was to thank and honor the Italian cavers who were with us that had done a lot of the work after the horizontal section was found. There were 48 participants that year. We set up a bivouac in the gallery. Again, encouraging results. We had 1 meander with active water in the black rock underneath the platen calc. The platen calc is the, let's say, the standard limestone of the White Mountains that appears at specific altitudes. A large pit was discovered which cut through the galleries, and as we were coming from the bivouac, the pit opens up below, and opposite there's these 2 continuations that open up like eyes. And at the bottom of this pit, there was running water that was feeding what we called the Black Meander. So it really was, compared to the vertical part of the cave, a completely new system. We explored 3 kilometers and surveyed 3 kilometers in that year. There were many question marks, and at 5.6 kilometers, it's the third longest cave in Crete, sorry, on the island of Crete. This is the plan of the 2023 expedition. The colors are in order of wavelength from the year of discovery. So the red is the GSO exploration, the orange is 2017, the yellow is 2018, the green is 2019, which finished suddenly, and then the blue is 2020, and the purple is 22, and the violet is 23. This is how it looked on the 3D surface of Google Maps, of Google Earth. And this is the large pit, which we named Pozzo Enorme. The Italians were very enthusiastic, and when they came out, all the discussion was, ma che pozzo, what a pit. And we heard the word and named the pit Pozzo Enorme, keeping the Italian word for pit. So we had to get ready for 2024, which meant that we planned to make new bivouacs inside the cave, and that we had to get the communications sorted out, because people were going to be overnighting, and we needed to extend. We already had a communication system in the cave. We needed to extend this to the and at the same time, okay, I'm still sharing. At the same time, we borrowed from the Federation's rescue team the Pimprenel geophone, which actually worked quite well for communicating with the second bivouac. And also, we were very lucky to have a satellite internet link given to us by a sponsor, Avax Computing, based in the city of Chania in Western Crete. At the beginning of 2024, there were something like 60, something like 60 question marks left from the exploration of 2023. So we put them all on a big map with the intention of crossing each one off as we went. We had 45 people there from 7 countries. We continued the exploration in the galleries. Concrete Canyon continued to become longer. The Chamber of Pandora and the river Ihor were discovered this year. I'll show you on the survey where they are, and then we'll see photos also. And the labyrinth at the end of this. Beautiful Rosa section was explored, and the Tafkos της Λαγωνιάς, which is it's an ice cave on the footpath to the top of the mountain. So it was known since antiquity. They used to come up there to take ice back down to the city for their fridges. We found a new section to this cave after exploration that year. Triplotavki is a cave discovered by the Selas expeditions in 2011. There were also Romanian cavers involved in that discovery. It was left at an explored depth of 135 meters. We wanted a digital survey done, so they it was re-explored and resurveyed, and during the resurvey, a window was found that gave a continuation that went deeper. And in the surface survey, a number of new caves were found. The Sternes cave became the fourth deepest in Greece with a depth of 722 meters, and the fourth longest cave in Greece with a length of 7.75 kilometers. That was another year where 2 kilometers of new exploration and survey was added to the cave. So on the plan, I flipped the color scheme, and the new sections here, the concrete canyon starts here. It from this point back to the Pozzo Enorme is the Black Meander with water flow, and then a separate water flow joins, flowing from east to west in this chamber, the chamber of the Italians. The new exploration was done here in the beautiful Rosa section and in the north part of the concrete canyon. And the remaining exploration was done from the Pozzo Enorme above the Black Meander into this series of huge chambers of Pandora here, where there was a good sandy place for setting up a third bivouac, and the Ihor River, where there is quite a big water flow with consecutive waterfalls, and this ended in the final chamber, which we call Gaia now, after Mother Earth. Yeah, here it is with the names and the new parts. The labyrinth was discovered by accident towards the end of the expedition. It was initially thought that Gaia ended in a sump, and it does. The water that comes down the Ihor River gets lost in Gaia, but a window was found that leads into what we are calling the labyrinth, and we'll see that a little bit later. So this was the survey at base camp with the continuations. This is the new part that was put on from Pandora and Ihor. Pandora is huge by Greek standards, by Lefkaori standards, and even the Italian cavers who found it with us, they said this is like a tropical cave. I mean, this sort of chamber you find in tropical caves, not not in Europe. This is the Ihor River, which is flowing to a certain extent on green schist, on rock that we are guessing is impermeable. So the name Pandora is it means all the gifts, and I think we leave it there, because what actually happens in the myth later on is not a happy story. She releases all the terrible things in the world. Ihor, as the name of the river, I'm sorry about the connection. So Daedalus, the father of Icarus, the guy who put beeswax on his hands and stuck the feathers, the same guy designed and built a robot for protecting the island of Crete. And in the robot ran Ihor instead of blood. We took measurements of the faults and stromatography and took samples of stones. And this is Gaia, the huge chamber at the bottom where the waters from Ihor just sink in between the boulders and get lost. So Ihor had some parts for us to explore in 25, like upstream following the water. And okay, other exploration in 24 was done on Concrete Canyon, where another 500 meters of passage was surveyed, and it follows very closely this fault on the mountain, and may reach the Lagonia cave, which had been re-explored that year. Surface survey, we have as a gift or a leftover from previous expeditions, a big number of waypoints that some have been explored, others not, and we are working on them in a systematic way. And by that I mean we've cut the mountain up into little squares of 500 meters as a way of cataloging specific parts of the mountain and guiding the work that we're doing, and helping with the naming as well. The idea is that everything is marked, photographed, and digitally surveyed, so that we can begin to put together something that could be called a cadaster. Those of you who heard me speak at the Croatian camp will remember that Greece doesn't have a cave cadaster, and it's something that the Federation is working on. And the hope is that once we have a few tens or maybe 100 of these caves recorded in a systematic way, we can use that as a starter for making the cadaster in Greece. This is again on the surface of the mountain, with the entrance marked, with Triplotafki marked here, and the cave of Lagonia, the Tafkos tis Lagonias, marked. This, we were hoping it would get there. It didn't in 24. Dustin from the US had said if we get to the bottom of Lagonia, I'll climb it. It would have been about 80 meters free climb, but we'll have to wait for 2025 for that. 2025, 3 bivouacs were established, and this is the first time in Greece, in a Greek expedition, that we have 3 bivouacs running at the same time. They were quite comfortable, so I'm told, and maybe they will become better, I don't know. They slept 4 each, and last year we had people staying for at least 3 overnights when they were entering the bivouacs. We continued exploring in the concrete canyon, and as the guys continued to the west, to the east, excuse me, which is this way if my mouse is visible, they reached these huge domes above them, and provisionally each one has a name derived from breakfast items available at camp. So that was Burrito Canyon that I showed in the previous photo. Again, unofficial name, we'll see if it'll stay. A number of climbs were done last year. The first one here, Concrete Canyon North, trying, as we said, to get to Lagonia. It ended up that the route was at the bottom of a big pit. Dustin climbed 60 meters, free climb, and it continued at least that much again. So he left a rope and came back. That's there to be climbed some other year. And up here, off Ihor, 2 windows were climbed, which ended up leading to either siphons or curving back towards the main route of the cave. Although there were some nice mud speleothems in one of them. The 2 sections discovered there were named after the camp dogs, Marco and Lara, who were a little bit jealous that Rosa had part of the cave, which is another camp dog, named after her. So when I talk about the dogs, I mean the climbs from Ihor that ended in sumps or curved back. In the labyrinth, the left photograph is the lowest part of the labyrinth. This is the Gaia chamber at the bottom of the cave, and the labyrinth comes off here. There's a section that curves back round that I haven't had an opportunity to put on the map yet. So there you can see the caver in the back of the photograph. That's somewhere around here, and the photographer is standing at the deepest point of the cave, which is currently 729 meters. Apart from that, this is on the other side of the labyrinth, out here, where there's a window with what looks like a fairly easy climb to be done first thing next year, to see where that goes. What else did we do? Yes, science. We worked with the Institute for Speleological Research of Greece, which is based in Iraklio on Crete, and they lent us some equipment for monitoring conditions inside the cave. So at this point here, next to beautiful Rosa, where the airflow is the most noticeable, we set up wind meters to measure every few minutes the direction and speed of the wind. It also measures ambient temperature and pressure. At the junction of Concrete Canyon north and south, we took measurements with handheld conductivity and pH detectors, which can give insights into the length of passage that the water has come down from outside to reach that point, because as it progresses, it becomes more alkaline and more conductive inside the cave as it interacts with the chemical elements of the rock. And in the two other water points here, we put sensors that monitor water conductivity and pH and temperature over the whole year. So this is the anemometer, and this is Gaia taking handheld pH and conductivity measurements, and this is the box we received from the Institute for Speleological Research, which is actually open source. I mean, you can download 3D printing instructions to make the box, and you can download instructions. It's run on an Arduino base, so as is the anemometer, actually. So anyone could make it and use it in their cave. We hope it'll last the whole year and that we will have a whole year's worth of measurements to look at next year. And here is indicated with yellow lines because the team hasn't had a chance yet to finalize all parts of the of last year's survey, but it's the main sections that were explored here in First Light. The dogs up here in Ihor. The labyrinth was continued in this direction for about 400 meters, and this is the Concrete Canyon continuation here as well. At the end of last year, 10 kilometers, 700 meters. It's the first time in recent years that a cave has gone beyond 10 kilometers in Greece. The other two caves that are this long are the Ros, which was explored decades ago, and Mara, which had most of its length explored also quite a few years ago. So in terms of recent exploration, it's the first 10K that we've had for a while. This is it sitting on the mountain, and there was again this year work on the surface. We revisited Vomvospia. The entrance is shown here. This cave used to have a snow plug at 140 meters deep, and since my first visit in 2010, the snow plug was there, and we hoped that, okay, I don't know if it's right to hope that global warming would do such a thing, but a result of global warming is that in many caves, the snow plug that had been there for generations is no longer there. And in Vomvospia, we managed to go deeper than before in this cave. The cave on the left, we named the freezer. And this is because the air coming out of it is at 3 degrees Celsius, which is it's indicative that this air is coming straight from Sternes, quite a few meters underneath. The temperature difference is in line with what it would be if this connects with the horizontal parts 600 meters below. And this is the entrance of Triplotavki, which was worked for about a week and also saw expansion. This shows the new exploration in orange, and it can change to show by depth. Okay, and the main blue thing is Sternes, and the little purple points are various surface caves. So this is Vonvospia here, above the little hand. Triplotavki is going to appear in a moment. Okay, the temperature is highly indicative of a connection with the horizontal sections. And Triplotavki, which was continued. Yes. So the surface work, new exploration is in orange here on the plan of the cave, and then looking at it with depth, so the lighter colors are higher up. You can see how all the deep caves that were explored recently line up, probably on a fault. Well, not probably, on a fault that runs from Vonvospia, which was on the left, and through the entrance of Sternes and to Triplotavki. And in a moment, this will come down again and we'll be able to see them. Come down there. So Vonvospia on the left here, Sternes, Triplotavki, and Ton Nycteridon, η σπηλιά των Nycteridon, the cave of the bats. So the idea behind the surface work is that we get that we can make a 3D model with the cave itself and with everything else that is approaching it or going towards it, to be able to have a better idea of what the mountain is like underneath. I'm going to go through this quickly because I've already said it once, even though you didn't hear it. But I've already said it once while you were listening. So it's just a roundup of what we've done. I also remarked that Concrete Canyon is missing from the bullets, and it should have been there because about 1 kilometer was explored in Concrete Canyon this year, and most of that by one team. So well done to them. You know who you are. At camp, there's various tasks to be done in the same way that there's various tasks to be done inside. And one of these is the scientific work where we've sampled we've sampled crystals and living things as well. In terms of living things, there's a bunch of different types of animals or taxa of animals that have been discovered in the cave. Most of them are being worked on with with people in the Ionian University and the Hellenic Institute of Speleological Research. This guy here is a rove beetle. in English, Staphylinidae. It's one of the families of beetles, and unfortunately, we've got two girls, and we need a boy for a proper scientific description to be done, because the scientists describe the shape of the penis. The diptera, the tubular little fly things here, crane flies. One was found last year at the third bivouac, which is 600 meters below ground and about, well, more than 1.5 kilometers walk from the entrance shafts. So that was quite remarkable that we had the tipula in the third bivouac. There was also bats described inside Stylianos, making that the record of the highest bat to be recorded in a cave in Greece. And we're working with the Institute of Speleological Research's Grecobat project. They've given us bat microphones, and we make recordings of bat calls both outside the cave at camp, and we've tried at the entrances of caves as well. And this data is still being processed by the guys at the project. In terms of temperature, according to physics, the deeper you go in a shaft of gas, the warmer it becomes towards the bottom, meaning that there should be a linear relationship of temperature to depth, of ambient air temperature to depth, and this is indeed something we have observed in Stylianos. We also have, for the last 3 years now, we've borrowed from the Paleolus project a number of loggers, data loggers, that have been inside the cave now for almost 3 years, and give us many measurements per day at 3 places in the cave. And we've also used fairly accurate sensors to measure airflow in the cave. It's about 1 meter cubed per second in most of the galleries at minus 500-600, and at Beautiful Rosa it was recorded at about 2 meters cubed per second. This is the results of the first year of temperature logging at minus 430 blue, and bivouac 1 in orange. The spot at minus 430 is right at the bottom of the entrance shafts, and the bivouac is a few hundred meters in from there. One thing that stuck out to us was that in spring and summer, the temperature variations, which are on a level of about 0.1 degrees centigrade, so it's not that much, but since the loggers allow us this accuracy, we noticed that the ups and downs go in parallel. They follow each other, apart from in the winter months, where presumably the fact that there's a snow plug at the entrance interrupts some of the communication between the point at 430 and at the bivouac. And once we have had a look at the data for 24 to 25 and 25 to 26, we'll get a better idea of how the air is moving inside the cave and what is going on. In that respect, Jeff, and the reason I realized that I'd lost the connection was because I said your name and looked to see you and didn't see the window, Jeff, has made a paper or a treatise which is going to be published in the report about the energy that is needed to move the air and melt the ice or deposit ice inside the Lagonia cave, and the implications of these calculations for whether or not the cave will connect with Sternes eventually or not. This is it's citizen science, and as cavers, we are all curious. Otherwise, we wouldn't be spending the weekends in the dark, in the wet, in the cold. And I think as much data as we can collect about the place will allow us to see patterns or not see patterns where we would expect patterns, and then ask ourselves why. And this, for me, and I think for quite a few of the members of the expedition, is a big part of the fun of doing all this. Geology and faults. We are keeping records and collecting samples of anything interesting. This is actually, as a slide, a bit old. There have been a whole lot more measurements made in the last 2 years than in all previous years. But for example, here where you can see on the left, the rock is sloping down towards the right, whereas it's pretty horizontal on the right. So this sort of information is being gathered by some of the team. Not everyone is inclined to this sort of record or this sort of work, but the ones that are enriching our knowledge of the cave in this way. And I can only encourage it. We're working together with academia in the form of researchers at the University of Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates, and they have taken our data from fault measurements and samples that have been collected to create or to refine a model for the internal geology of the Lefkaori. And one of the big papers to come out of this research, which is based to a great extent on information coming out of our expedition, is that the part of the Lefkaori where we are currently exploring was shifted over the slabs that used to be there, and there is a set of layers, like a layer cake, that has been cut and put on top of itself, and this affects the way the water flows once it's rained to reach various springs further down the mountain. We've done a fair amount, although it's never enough, of promotion and writing about and speaking about, as we're doing tonight, the expedition. And we've had the help of a bunch of Greek Cretan clubs here, and from the European Federation, from the International Union, from the USA's National Speleological Society, from the municipality of Sfakia, where the cave is located, and from various others who have provided from equipment to food to gas for the kitchen burner, to all sorts of useful things. A lot of people took the photos that are in this presentation, and I'm sure that some of them are not mentioned here, and I apologize for this. But I want it to be visible that there is a lot of people behind this expedition, and we put together this photograph or this slide from last year. So there's about 10 people missing from this slide, but just to give a scale of how many people have been involved over the 9 years, and to know that there's maybe 12, 15 more that are missing from this collage. Now, Emma, I think especially since we've had the technical problems that we've had, I'm not going to talk anymore with slides, and I'm going to ask if anyone wants to ask questions to go ahead, and or to say to me that I'm wrong, because there's a lot of people here that have been more at the face of the exploration than I have. But I hope it was interesting, and I hope people would be interested in coming back for future presentation nights organized by the Balkan Speleological Union. I don't know if anyone wants to ask me something.
Oh, thank you for that presentation. I guess I have some initial questions. I think in your slides you covered at the bottom of the pit it was about 5 degrees Celsius, but that's actually the warmer area of it. What's the kind of upper end of cave temperature and lower end of cave temperature to be expected?
It's between 5 and 7.
Okay, so pretty close range. Excellent.
Yeah. You, Derek, where are you from, and where did you hear about tonight's presentation from?
I'm from the U.S., so an NSS member, National Speleological Society member.
Okay.
And
okay.
Yeah, Alec Matthews, a member of I think last year's expedition, clued me in on this. So
okay.
Interested in being prospective member, and I guess that leads into how many people are you expecting on this coming year's expedition? How many people do you want? Are you going to essentially have to pare it down because there's more interest in space, or vice versa?
Okay, that's putting me on the spot in a public space. But
sorry, yeah, don't need to go into it if you haven't made those determinations yet.
There are still spaces open.
Okay.
And yeah. Yeah. Follow our Facebook page, and when the application form is published, you can apply. And then there's a very, very tough process of interviews and selection, as Alec will tell you.
Excellent. I look forward to it.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess if no one else is going to jump in, I missed, I think, the very beginning of the presentation. I think I've heard that getting water access at the entrance to the cave is maybe difficult. Yeah, would those logistics look like, I guess?
Okay. The camp that we set up is a few minutes up a hill from, or up a slope from the dirt road. The dirt road is 45 minutes from town. And we have members of the expedition who take empties down. 20-liter or 30-liter jerry cans are taken down to the town, filled up, and brought back up. This is how we've done it until now. We have a few ideas for how that can be improved, but it's probably not going to change.
Okay. And are there water sources? It looks like maybe there are going to be drips and such in the cave. How much of that water do you have to actually carry with you in the cave versus at the campsites there's accessible water?
If you're going underground, there will be places to fill up your bottle.
All right.
Right next to bivouac 1, there's a steady flow of water that's enough for drinking and cooking. And then there's next to bivouac 2 is the Concrete Canyon River, and next to, or a little bit further down from bivouac 3 is again more fresh water.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
We implement a very strict protocol for the removal of organic waste from the cave. We don't want to leave anything inside.
Excellent. Good for the cave, good for water resources, I guess, in there. Excellent.
Yes. So can I just ask a technical question, Emma? Was it just me disappearing? It was my connection.
Yes. Pandora
That's
internet.
not good. It's not good because I'm paying for something better than that. Okay.
I think that the amount of information that you were sharing was quite big.
Yeah, too much.
Not
Philip's agreeing there.
Not per se the information, but the images and the fact that they were moving.
Yeah, the internet couldn't handle your content.
Oh, really? That's not
Sometimes
good.
it happens when you have moving presentations with animations and stuff like that. The traffic it's quite big and Teams crashes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. For those of you who haven't been, join us and you'll see it live. It's good to see a lot of friends here who have joined us. Thank you for coming to my talk.
It's good to see you, Stylios.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you guys coming this year?
Unknown at this point. You'll have to tell us about
Okay.
26 first.
You want me to tell you what we plan to do before you decide whether you want to come, huh?
We're confident.
Philip, it's boring. We're going to be doing boring stuff this year.
Boring as in blasting.
It's not worth it. I know. The fun stuff's all happened. Okay, I think
Stelios, there are some questions on the group chat, I think.
Okay, Harad, you want to read them to me because every time I was thrown out, I can't see them. That I
Alexis Delano. Yeah, let me do the questions. Do you know if the survey can be downloaded? If yes, from which website? Did you publish it somewhere?
Yes, but not the 2025 survey because we are still working on it.
And
So
there's
I
another
can,
question. Yeah, tell us.
no, I can write these as comments to the event, and maybe if whoever asked is not here, they will find it later.
And from Andrew, there is a question if anyone has a name or link for the open source Arduino weather monitoring station.
I think he froze again.
Nice. He's not susceptible to questions.
Okay,
back.
sorry, I heard from Andrew and then it cut.
If anyone has a name or link for the open source Arduino weather
Okay.
monitoring station.
This is Andrew Matievsky, I'm guessing. Eh?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Is he still connected?
Still here, Stylianos. Good to see you, and say hi to
Okay.
Zhenya for me.
Number one, Xenia still has your glasses.
I'll come get them this year.
Yeah. Number two, yes, I will share the link in the in the event. It's not just there's a whole bunch of stuff that they have designed with the Arduinos for use in caves. So I'll link something there. Hara, any more?
Nope.
Okay. The first message I can see is Marina saying that she's leaving.
Yeah, no more questions. Also, I have good news. The next workshop is lined up in 2 weeks, same day, same time, and it's going to be a surprise. But I'm going to publish the event during this week. And if you have any ideas, or if you want to share anything with us, let me know. I can make a nice cover like I did for Stylianos. He's usually handsome, but in the
Θυμήστε μου να
club,
πάρω την Nova να τους ξεχέσω αύριο.
so let us know. Cool. Then thank you all for today.
Okay.
Thank you, Stylianos, so much.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone who decided that they wanted to hear that. I hope it was interesting.
Indeed, it was.
Okay.
So see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Good to see you. Good to see you, everybody.
Bye-bye, guys.